In the early 1940s, Walt Disney's animation team was growing thanks to the success of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Lots of young designers, artists, and storytellers were brought into the studio, but none were more stylish and integral in bringing a modern look to the Disney company than Mary Blair. In the mid-1930s, Mary Robinson attended Chouinard Art School, interested in being a watercolor artist. She met the man that would eventually become her husband in school, Lee Blair, and once they both graduated from Chouinard, they started working for film studios. The Great Depression stopped them from having their own art galleries and simply selling their own work, so Lee found himself a job at the Disney studio with Mary following in his footsteps in 1940. Mary, being an independent and free-thinking artist, didn't care for her position at the animation studio. She joined onto productions already conceptualized, forcing her hands to sketch and paint someone else's vision instead of her own. Her watercolor paintings didn't look like Disney productions, and she didn't care for the lack of artistic expression she was given, so in 1941, she quit. Walt Disney, ever a fan of fine art, and wanting to push his films to be seen as such, took a liking to Mary Blair and her watercolor paintings, even after leaving the company. And when the government approached Walt Disney to go on a goodwill tour of South America during World War II, he handpicked Lee and Mary Blair to go along with him. It was on this goodwill tour that Mary Blair would find her signature style. She used the tropical South American palette of vibrant colors and used modern shapes to create concept art and backgrounds that moved beyond the art seen in Disney's previous works. This was something new and unique, and Walt wanted to showcase this artwork in his new films about South America, Saludos Amigos and The Three Caballeros.
¡Vamos, Donald! ¡Vamos!
When the South American crew made their way back to Los Angeles, Mary found herself in a new position as a concept artist and designer. Blair's stylish and modern paintings used watercolor, gouache, pastels, and acrylic paints. One of her signatures was her use of color, not blending her colors and instead pushing contrasting colors up against each other. It allowed for much of the animation in the 1940s to be more abstract and expressive. Her character designs also had a stylized feel to them. Look at a short like Once Upon a Wintertime or The Little House to see exactly what I mean. The characters are less realistic and more shapely. As Walt Disney was looking to get back to making full-length features, Mary Blair was put to work on concepts for Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland, and Peter Pan. In fact, you can see much of her conceptual work making it into the backgrounds of these films. When the clock strikes midnight in Cinderella, we see Cinderella's carriage racing away, and her style is clearly there. Looking at the forest Alice walks through to meet the caterpillar, we see Mary's colorful palette. And like I said previously in the Silver Eras Part 1 video, Walt knew he could make Alice in Wonderland after seeing the colorful whimsy of Mary's art. As much as Walt loved Mary Blair, she wasn't loved throughout the studio. Mary came into the studio creating two-dimensional, flat artwork, and the animation team had to create characters and backgrounds that could turn and move with the camera. Her artwork became challenging to translate into animation and was headache-inducing for animators. That's not to say that she was hated by everyone among the studio, but she was definitely not loved by everyone either. Feeling she could express herself artistically in other ways, Mary Blair left the Disney Company in the mid-1950s, working on illustrations for children's books and her own paintings. Her split from the company was in good standing, however, and Walt Disney continued to think of her, especially as he expanded his animation studio into making live-action films, television, and theme parks. For the 1964 World's Fair, Walt put his artists and Imagineers to work on several attractions that would showcase how great Disneyland was, and to expand the idea of Disney as a theme park attraction company. There were 3 attractions with everyone working full steam ahead: Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln, the Carousel of Progress, and the Magic Skyway. When Pepsi asked Disney to create a 4th attraction for their pavilion at the fair, his Imagineers didn't think they could handle the workload. Walt said yes anyway and felt it would be a perfect opportunity to bring back Mary Blair to design a small boat ride about children around the world.
I want you to meet Mary Blair. Mary, this is Julie Reams.
Hello, Julie.
Will you tell her what you're doing here, Mary?
We start this way, making a preliminary sketch. Then we'd make a model to scale, and that's what we're doing here.
This is a half-scale model, isn't it, Mary?
It's a half inch.
I mean, half inch. One
Yes.
half inch represents a foot. So actually, when the thing is really built at Disneyland, those towers will be 60, 70 feet high.
That's right.
It's a Small World would be designed and built by Mary Blair and a few other Imagineers, and would go on to be the most famous attraction from Disney at the 1964 fair. When the attraction moved to Disneyland, Raleigh Crump built the outer facade to emulate Blair's paintings. It's a Small World now has a Mary Blair-inspired aesthetic in nearly every Disney resort worldwide, but that wouldn't be her last design for the Disney parks. When building the new Walt Disney World resorts in Florida, Mary Blair was asked to create a mural. The Contemporary Hotel was to be the new resort's key modern hotel, but its modern look was sterile. Mary Blair was asked to add color to the hotel, so she created the Grand Canyon mural you see there today. The mural goes 90 feet high and is made up of tons of animals and children playing around the Grand Canyon. Don't forget to look for the five-legged goat the next time you're there. The mural is massive and impressive when you think that one person worked on such a large piece. The mural at the Contemporary Hotel would be Mary Blair's last work for the Walt Disney Company, and she would pass away in 1978. Her lasting impression has been felt, and not just by Disney, but in pop culture as a whole. We continue to see artwork inspired by Mary Blair, a mid-century modern stylist who brings a romanticized version of the 1950s and 60s to life. Her presence can be felt in newer films like Monsters, Inc. and TV animated shows like Tangled. Her use of color can be seen in fashion, interior design, modern children's books, and so much more. Mary Blair isn't just a Disney legend, she's an artistic hero of the 20th century, and someone we will continue to look back on fondly in the same ways we do Andy Warhol or Van Gogh. Mary Blair has been an inspiration to me as an artist, and I continue to love her work to this day. Let me know in the comments below if you love Mary Blair and what you love about her. Thanks for watching this video, and make sure to check out more of our Disney Legends videos, and if you haven't yet, subscribe to our channel. I'm Angie, and until next time, hurry back!